to the Environmental Leadership Chronicles, a podcast brought to you by the California Association of Environmental Professionals. AEP hosted its annual conference April 22nd through April 26th in Lake Tahoe. And in this special episode, we bring you short and insightful clips from attendees sharing their experiences and thoughts on this year's conference. Get ready to hear from a diverse range of professionals in the environmental industry as they discuss their highlights from the conference and key takeaways. And if you missed it, we hope this inspires you to attend the next one yourself.
My name is Alex Gerber. I found AEP online when I typed in environmental organization, and it was the first one that popped up. And I saw that they had an awesome event coming up, which was the CEQA Essentials Workshop. So I signed up. I went. I was looking for a job in the industry. I graduated a couple months earlier and didn't really know how to get in. I was serving at the time, so I was like, let's see if I can meet someone there. And I went, I learned a lot, I asked a lot of questions, tried to meet as many people as possible, and I ended up finding a job from the person I met at that meeting.
Who did you meet?
I met Connie Dobreva. She is currently the vice president of the state board of AEP, but she was the one who was doing the CEQA workshop essentials training. And so I, in the breaks, was like, this is fantastic. Yeah. I'm really enjoying this. And asked a lot of questions for things that I didn't quite know, because not being in the industry, there's a lot of industry-specific things that may seem intimidating at first, but when you realize you ask questions, there's a whole group of people who are really interested in just teaching what they know and spreading the word, because it's something that people don't really learn about in college as much. Yes. Or hear about unless they kind of fall into it.
Yes, so take the CEQA workshop.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Highly recommend. They have a basics workshop in the fall, advanced workshop in the spring and March around, and going to both of them is fantastic. I highly recommend.
Yeah, that's great. I know that a lot of people here, so there's a lot of students here, I should say a lot. There are some students, yes. And they have said that they're looking for jobs, and people keep asking about CEQA experience. Mm-hmm. And that's why I said, I'm like, you got to go to the CEQA workshops for that.
Absolutely,
AEP
because it's, when you go into the industry, you realize that everyone has a theory of CEQA. Mm-hmm. So it's not necessary to learn how to write a CEQA document as you enter, mm-hmm. but it is really helpful to know what it is.
Yeah.
And the CEQA Basics Workshop does a really good job of kind of telling you what it is and why, the history of it, and what its purpose is. So being able to answer those questions, you'll learn all of the technical aspects or writing aspects at the place you go to, because it seems very intimidating, but It is a long process, and everyone knows it's a long process.
Right.
So you have a whole bunch of people who are very understanding of it, and if you are able to come in with that knowledge of what it is and the purpose, you are miles ahead of so many people.
Oh, that's great. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great advice. And so, is this your first conference?
This is my third conference.
Third? Oh my gosh.
Second in person. I went to the Long Beach one online.
Okay, great.
But yeah, I've been 2019. I went to the Monterey conference, and now I'm here in person again, and really happy.
That's awesome.
Now I'm going to try and have to bribe my way to go to the rest of the conferences to the end of time.
I love it. We were actually talking to Alex about his, for those viewing, those listening, you might not see that Alex's hair is very AEP themed. Allegedly not intentional.
It was a Evanescence concert that inspired it, and it just so happened that coincidentally it became very AEP themed.
Works.
So it is now a permanent fixture at every AEP conference.
Yeah, right? So for this conference, what are some highlights, like key takeaways? Like, how's this conference been going for you?
So I do technical analysis. I do air quality and transportation. Mm-hmm. And there's one big aspect, especially that's pertinent to this area, which is evacuation analysis.
Yeah.
So I've been going to all of those, trying to learn what's the kind of guidance that was provided of what they want out of these analyses for these new projects and these new residential areas that may be in higher risk areas. So being able to understand that and really see what the intent is it was really enlightening for how we should go about doing those analyses. Also, VMT is still a huge thing.
Yes.
And as someone who thinks about VMT every day, because it is required by CEQA and poorly understood by most, it is great to go to these events where people help explain it and also how to explain it to those who are not in the industry.
Yes.
That's been the biggest question I've really grappled with and had a lot of good conversations with here. And with air quality, there's health risk assessments, there's EJ, environmental justice issues, and I apologize for the acronyms. That's the biggest thing you'll learn in this industry is acronyms. But those are really important things that we're trying to make sure we're doing right.
Yes.
So you have a whole group of people who are all doing this and all wanting to do it right and being able to talk. It's not just people lecturing you on how to do it. A lot of these are open, question seminars of, we want to hear from you of your experience, and it's very collaborative, which I've always appreciated.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to learn from your peers.
Exactly.
Up and down for that matter.
Exactly, because you have, as you said, a whole range of people, students who are trying to get in the industry, and there are people who are just starting out. There are people in the middle of their career and those who have been doing this for quite a while. So you get the full breadth of experience that you can kind of learn from and experience, which is great.
That's awesome. Well, thanks so much for your time, Alex. I'll let you get back to the reception, but really appreciate you joining.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for talking with me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
So my name is Angela Lagneau, and I am with Westerville Ecological, and I am a conservation planner. And so it's just a great opportunity to come out here and meet other planners.
Yay. So how's the conference been for you so far?
Oh, it's been wonderful. And I mean, you can't beat the location in Tahoe or Truckee. But I mean, met a lot of great people, and there's been a lot of great sessions, and I've been really enjoying it.
Awesome. Any highlights or key takeaways that stand out so far?
Well, Mark Twain was a really big highlight today.
Yes.
That was really fun. That was not a surprise, but it was just a fun experience.
Yeah. Definitely a change from the norm.
Yeah, and a lot of the current topics were really covered in the environmental planning, so that was really great.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Well, thanks so much for coming, and I'll let you get to the wine reception.
All right, thank you.
I'm Christy Marosla. I'm with Team B Planning as one of their CEQA consultants. This is my first ever AEP conference, and it's been a blast so far. The location has been just phenomenal, and getting an opportunity to meet others in the industry and just learning from them and hearing them ask questions, and just great exposure.
Yeah. And can you tell me any specific takeaways or highlights or talks that were of interest to you?
Yeah, the mitigation measure session was really helpful. I also learned that any question is a good question. There's no dumb questions, because I have the same questions and sometimes I'm too shy to ask them.
Yeah.
So I'm glad other people were there to kind of be a voice for me, but just take the chance and ask the question, because somebody else can have it too.
Yeah, that's great feedback. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I'll let you back to the reception, but I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, so I'm Emily Highland. I live in Davis and I actually work for UC Davis as an environmental planner. So that basically we do a lot of construction, a lot of changes to, existing facilities, and CEQA was still required there. So we have 3 environmental planners on campus, and we work with consultants, and we do the CEQA and environmental permitting and try to incorporate some campus planning as well.
That's so cool. I was just saying right before we recorded, and I just didn't realize that universities had that in-house. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. And it's awesome because we get to, work on campus, see how it all plays out. And I actually started in January, so I'm still definitely new and learning on the field. So yeah.
That's great. So how are you connected to AEP?
So I used to actually be part of APA quite a bit because I was a county planner for Sacramento County, but AEP I knew was wonderful. I really enjoyed environmental stuff. And then when I joined the university, they both are involved with AEP. So they got me involved and they're like, let's go to the conference. And so, yeah, I'm just excited to get more involved, honestly.
Great alignment. So how's the conference been so far?
It's been great. It's been a lot. I mean, it's like yesterday was 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And so it's just been so much information, and the sessions have been lovely. The speakers have been great. And then also like so many opportunities to network and socialize. Yes. And so it's been really awesome. The food's been great too.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree. I like rushed up for lunch quick.
I know. It's like a sit down lunch. It was lovely.
Yeah. So as far as the speakers and sessions, are there any that have stood out to you or any key takeaways?
I actually went to Gary with Ascent. He did a whole session on their increasing diversity internship. Oh. And so it wasn't a technical one, but it was just a really interesting session. And they were so passionate about the topic. And I mean, it's something that I think that so many environmental planners really want to do and diversify our profession. So that one stood out as being very, very good.
That's great. Well, that's part of was a catalyst for starting the podcast was to help facilitate and push out some of the DEI initiatives and reach a wider audience for AEP. So, been getting some really good feedback on the DEI sessions from some other teams as well.
I know there's another environmental justice one coming up in a few minutes.
Yeah. Oh, we got to get you going. Well, thank you for popping in. I appreciate your time, and hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
My name is Mia Angolia, and I'm a senior biologist with the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission. And we have a large 2,000 plus acre mitigation program that we oversee in the Natural Resources and Lands Management Division. And one of our planners who helps get permitting and helps to run all of those habitat restoration sites invited me to come speak on a panel with her.
Yay, that's awesome. So have you been to AEP conferences before?
I have never been to AEP before.
Oh, how's it been so far?
It's been beautiful. And I used to live in Tahoe, so I always love coming back.
That's great. And so have you spoken yet, or are you speaking?
No, 1:45.
1:45. So for a time reference, that's in like 30 minutes. Yeah. So thank you so much for joining.
No
Are you
problem.
feeling prepared?
I am. The particular topic that I'm talking on is something that I've presented on a lot of times, so I'm pretty comfortable talking about it.
That's great. Well, thanks for coming to the conference and sharing your knowledge and expertise. It's so helpful to share within the industry, and then a lot of the up and coming professionals too. I know really appreciate learning from leaders like yourself. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, my name is Scott Williams, and I am a graduate student at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm connected through the club AEP through the Orange County chapter.
Oh, great. So
chapter.
You're a student member for AEP?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So for the conference itself, I think the benefit of having it is the connections you're going to make. Mm-hmm. And I think when it comes to personalities, the personalities that stick out the most are the ones that actually are driven towards like going and making an initial shake the first hand. And I think the metaphor that best comes to mind for me is the 50 cups of coffee. So out of you ask people, you can make those connections. You say, hey, would you like to follow up and say, hey, do you want to go grab a cup of coffee? And that can lead to, like, out of 50 cups of coffee, one of those cups of coffee can actually do something for you. Yep. And we're out here on the third day, and I already know, like, you keep seeing the same faces. Yeah. It's kind of funny. Like, I met you today, literally on the stairs, but like, if I met you the first day, I'd be literally saying hi to you. And I made the joke this morning. I was saying, oh, I'm like John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. And then people would reply, oh, that's my name too. And I didn't get it until like the third person said it to me. But like, I see the same people. I'm like, hey, like there's so many people you're meeting, and you meet them again and again and again. You start recognizing the face, and you recognize like the characteristics that people have. So
as far as the conference, what are some panels or speakers that have stood out, or any key takeaways from that?
I think one of the big ones I sat in was on the wind turbine. I forget the names. I'm lost by the name. I don't.
There are some complex panels.
But
pop quiz. Tell us.
But that one was a really interesting one. I got too excited, and I actually raised my hand about 5 times, and I accidentally almost stumbled the speaker a couple of times.
Oh,
It's like, I don't know. Yeah.
Anything you're looking forward to?
Kind of just going with the flow at this
Yeah,
point.
love it. Well, thank you for joining us, Scott. Really appreciate it. And best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, glad to be here. My name is Veronica Moronis. I'm a principal planner with the city of Escondido.
Great. So how are you connected to AEP?
Yeah, so I'm an AEP member.
Yay!
Right. But I also work in the environmental field through the city planning lens. So I do our CEQA NEPA reviews for our HUD funding allocations. And then prior to my time in Escondido, I actually was an environmental consultant on the private side.
Oh, okay. So you get to see both sides of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been an AEP member?
I have, I've probably been on and off an AEP member for the last 4 or 5 years.
Okay, great. And is this your first conference?
This is not my first conference. This is actually my second conference.
Great.
I attended Long Beach and I worked through that entire conference. So I'm really excited to be here and be able to attend the sessions in full and give them my full attention.
Yay. How's it been so far?
It's been really great. I've actually never been to Tahoe. So that was part of the draw too, was 2 birds, 1 stone. So aside from the location and the venue, the sessions have been really great, informative. Glad to see that there is attention to DEI, to diversity, equity, inclusion, and hoping that that continues to strengthen through each conference.
Yes, me too. I'm all about it. And did you attend the first, what was it, Sunday, the DEI?
I did.
I did too. Yay.
Yeah.
It was a great session. I really liked it. It set such a good tone, I thought, for kicking off the conference and getting to do some workshops and exercises together. And I really enjoyed that. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to a couple of other sessions that are DEI related. There's an AP 52 session coming up, so I'm excited to go and learn some new things about consultation efforts.
Yay. And then aside from the one we were in together, is there any that have stood out to you so far? Any key takeaways that you have from the sessions?
I think it's always great when I go into a session and I think I know what I'm doing. And then I learn a new best practice where I'm like, oh, that makes so much sense. But, it takes getting out of your bubble of day-to-day activities to realize that it makes a lot of sense to be doing that. I just attended a CAP consensus building seminar, and as our CAP administrator, that was really helpful, even though it was tailored for folks who maybe don't exactly work in the CAP sphere. Mm-hmm. It was a great way to just see how other jurisdictions are tackling some of the challenges related to that, and somewhat through an equity lens of thinking about the community more holistically, which our CAP is very social equity focused. So.
Yes, great. I'm sure it always helps, like you said, to hear how others are speaking about it. It's something that you're probably more advanced in than the other attendees. It's interesting to hear how people are communicating it.
Yeah. And I love, we end up in our jurisdictions, in my case, or I think in the consulting world, there's a little bit more collaborative effort because there's a lot more networking. There's a lot more ease to pick up the phone, which I don't understand why that doesn't happen more in jurisdictions. But it's really great to just be able to talk with folks and hear what they're doing, or kind of give them a scenario that we're going through and see how, maybe their suggestions, or maybe they're like, oh, I know an exact person you should be talking to because they went through that. Just such a good collaborative effort and environment to be in. And I'm really happy to be able to experience some of those folks.
Yay. Well, thanks for joining us and sharing your feedback. Thanks for being a member, and hopefully see you at the conference next year.
Yes, I plan on it. Anaheim.
Yeah. Woo, thanks.
My name is Zachary Chronicles. I'm a senior environmental planner with ICF, and I'm an AEP member.
Great. How long have you been an AEP member?
I've been an AEP member for 3 years.
3 years? Okay. And I heard that this is your first conference?
This is my first conference.
Yay. So how's it going?
It's going amazing. It's beautiful here in Tahoe. There's so much snow. We need it.
Right? And so what are some highlights of the conference, or any panels or speakers that you've seen that have stuck out to you?
Highlights, other than the beautiful location, is just meeting everyone. I've met people I've worked with previously. I've met people that I've only met online through COVID times.
Yeah.
But the panels, there have been many panels that I've liked. Of particular interest for me was the automated vehicles panel, reviewing how we're doing long-term planning for automated vehicles in the San Francisco Bay Area region, just because it's so new and so revolutionary. It's fascinating. It's everything I consider fascinating.
I heard a few people mention that, and I didn't understand how close it is to reality.
Yeah, if you've been to San Francisco, you can see them driving around. I'm actually been approved to be in the riderless car or the driverless car. So I've taken a couple rides already with the cruise agency.
That's awesome.
It's a little unsettling just to be in a car with no driver.
Yeah.
But, it's very.
I can imagine.
Future's now.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Zach. Appreciate you taking time away from the reception to talk to us. Okay, thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to be updated when new episodes are released and leave us a review to let us know what you think. It also really helps us to share the podcast with others who may enjoy learning about the environmental industry. If you want to submit a shout out or any feedback, please send an email or voice memo to podcast@califaep.org. The email again is podcast with an S, podcast@califaep.org.